Whether you're hankering for a thick hunk of ham, looking to feast on some farm-fresh chops, or craving a killer Kahlua pork, you're about to embark on the ultimate hog holiday.
It's like heaven on a bun or something like that. We just love it.
That's good stuff.
I may need some privacy.
Get set to pig out on porcine perfection because we're taking you to pork paradise. Ham, pork chops, bacon, sausage. It's hard to believe so much goodness can all come from the same animal.
Yummy.
Pork is the renaissance man of the meat world, and though some may call it the other white meat, the pig simply won't be outdone. More people eat pork than any other protein on the planet. Each year, nearly 21 billion pounds of this savory sensation are processed in the United States alone. For anyone who's ever said, when pigs fly, that time is now.
Why do Americans love pork so much? Because the more fat involved, the more delicious it is.
You've got a mouthful. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
Our pork pilgrimage starts in Atlanta, Georgia, where they like their breakfast big and with plenty of pig.
That's really good.
Here at the famous Silver Skillet, owner Teresa Breckenridge and her staff are cooking up the gold standard of pork-laden country cooking.
I love the Silver Skillet. I bring people here all the time when people come in from out of town.
It is delicious. The most juiciest piece of ham I've ever had. Seriously, the food is amazing. This ham is... Where did you see the juices?
I have a bacon omelet with pancake on the side. Real good.
When the customers come into the Silver Skillet, they smell the cooking, the bacon, the biscuits, and immediately your taste buds start sensing that and just go crazy.
But of all the mouth-watering pork products on this menu, Silver Skillet regulars go most crazy for the original recipe country ham.
Well, this is country ham, and it's fantastic. Bone-in, gorgeous, with some gravy. Well, if you look at the size of what's on this plate, this is a proper fix of pork, no doubt about it.
It's incredible. If you want to start your day off with a massive chunk of protein, this is the way to go.
People love our country ham. One bite of that, and you know you're in paradise. It just makes you smile. That's what we're known for. It's everything you could ever want.
The Skillet gets its center-cut bone-in ham fresh sliced straight from the butcher. They trim all the fat and prep the ham slabs for a glorious bath in Teresa's secret marinade.
It is marinated in a secret sauce that my father years ago created and developed. Soy sauce is the main ingredient, light brown sugar. Not only the sweet flavor, but it also caramelizes the edges of the ham, paprika. And then we have a secret ingredient.
The juice also gives the ham that robust red color. And then it's on to the hot griddle.
Oh, that's really nice.
Slap it on a plate with some eggs, grits, and biscuits, and you've got yourself a taste of country ham, the way only Silver Skillet can do it. But if that's not enough to get you going in the morning, wake up your ham steak with a little dip of red-eye gravy.
We take a little bit of that marinade that the hams have been in. We add some old coffee to it and turn it into magical red-eye gravy.
The gravy makes the dish, it really does. It's amazing, it's got lots of flavor.
It's a good taste of salt and porkiness, and you dip it in the red-eye gravy and it just melts in your mouth.
Something that I might not normally have for breakfast, but it certainly gives you a kick and it will start me off for the day.
How does that taste?
My cholesterol just shot up. I'm gonna have a stroke. It was delicious, yes, but I'm gonna die because of it.
This red-eye sauce is the jam.
For over 50 years, the Silver Skillet has been whipping up the kind of home-cooked breakfast its customers just can't get at home.
It just feels real hometown, and it's really comfortable and cozy, and it serves great food.
Enjoy your breakfast.
Thank you.
It's better than my mom's cooking, so why not come here?
We won't tell Mom that.
We've been in business since 1956, so it's just a very comforting Southern hospitality that we offer here.
Thank you.
The menu is a collection of hearty Southern-style favorites like griddle cakes, French toast, hash browns, biscuits, eggs, and more eggs. But the Silver Skillet will always be known as the place in Atlanta to savor some delicious ham.
They want the pork, they want the flavor, that seasoning, and it just reminds you of a good home-cooked Southern breakfast.
Our South sojourn continues in one of America's oldest colonial cities, Smithfield, Virginia. When people think of a large Southern ham gracing their table at a holiday dinner, they're probably thinking of a Smithfield ham. And you can only get them here, in the ham capital of the world.
Smithfield ham is the ham that made ham famous.
And at the center of this paradise of pork is the historic Smithfield Inn.
I think the Smithfield Inn is a really important part of Smithfield because it's been here for so long.
Just look at the place, just the history, the atmosphere, that's what makes it special.
You come to the Smithfield Inn if you want to have that laid-back Southern traditional meal.
For over 40 years, people from all over the country have been flocking to the Smithfield Inn for Moselle Brown's world-famous Smithfield ham rolls. Once declared by USA Today as one of the best plates in America. It's the Smithfield Inn's legendary baker, Moselle Brown, who transforms them into pork perfection.
Moselle comes in every morning at 4 a.m. to make her rolls in secret because she won't let anyone know her recipe.
I've been working here 48 years. We're a big family, and we love one another here. The recipe from the Smithfield ham roll came from my mother. Here I have butter, flour, sweet potatoes, sugar, and salt. I let it rise up about 15 minutes, then I roll. I use a glass to cut my bread.
Each morning, Moselle whips up about 10 dozen of these down-home hammy sammies. And by sunrise, the inn is filled with the aroma of fresh baked rolls.
I'm gonna put a little butter on here. And then, put some ham in here. These are Moselle's famous ham rolls.
That is hamtastic.
Their ham rolls are so good. The ham rolls are a Smithfield favorite. That's standard fare at any big event or special occasion in Smithfield, and they do it the best here at Smithfield Inn.
The town of Smithfield has been synonymous with ham since the early 1600s, when Native Americans taught the colonists how to salt-cure hogs with magic white sand. The Smithfield Inn has been serving that same delicious ham since 1752. So long that even George Washington dined on their swine when he once stayed at the inn during a presidential tour. And Smithfield is so serious about their ham that in 1926, the state of Virginia passed a law saying only hogs that were smoked, cured, and aged 6 months in the town limits of Smithfield could be called a Smithfield ham.
Today, only 4 companies are allowed to use the Smithfield ham name. All other hams have to be called country hams.
Today, in addition to their famous ham, the Smithfield Inn offers up plenty of other pork-tastic specialties, like the fried green tomato BLT with thick-cut pepper bacon, or Chef Jonathan's signature pork and apples, topped with green peppercorn velouté, served on top of caramelized Granny Smith apples.
I came up with this dish. I wanted to kind of play around with the pork and apple concept. It's kind of a classical combination. I saw these pork shanks and I thought they were interesting, so we started using those and just braising them off. It's very tender, falling off the bone, along with the apples. Kind of a nice sweet and savory combination.
You definitely taste the apples. The pork is really, really good. I mean, it tastes like somebody homemade it. You just have to come in here and try it. I'm eating the braised pork shanks. The pork is very, very tender. It falls right off the bone and tastes very delicious.
If you like pork, this is the place to come for pork. This is a pork tenderloin with pasta. It's just absolutely delicious. Because I like pasta and I like pork, and you put those two together and add some balsamic vinaigrette across the top of that, and you got yourself a heck of a good meal.
But locals crowd the inn every Wednesday for wing night. Pork wings, that is.
They're petite pork shank cut out of the femur bone of the pig, and then we just lightly fry them, toss them in our house-made wing sauce. They go on over really well.
This is a pork wing. It's the Smithfield version, I guess, of a buffalo wing. The only difference is it's better.
ham, shanks, and even wings. After 250 plus years, the Smithfield Inn is still riding high on the hog.
The Smithfield Inn is definitely an institution here. It's been here forever. It's just fun and good food.
You take the menu of the Smithfield Inn, and you can't go wrong. If you like pork, this is the place to come for pork. This is going to taste like something that your grandmother used to fix.
Hey, enjoy.
Our search for pork paradise continues 100 miles east of Des Moines, in Amana, Iowa. In a state boasting 20 million pigs, the best pork chops around can be found at the Ox Yoke Inn, where they've been serving traditional farm-fresh food since 1940.
The Ox Yoke Inn serves the finest cuts of pork that we grow here in Iowa. It is tender, juicy, wonderful.
You have at least 6 or 7 different options here, so why would you not be in love? I mean, it's like coming to a pork island, just sitting there.
Couldn't have said it better.
The Amana Meat Shop is just located a block away, and they provide an excellent product, our hams, as well as our smoked pork chops, our honey apple pork chop. All of those items come from the Amana Meat Market, just down the street. The recipes that are served here at the restaurant are from my mother's collection. We call it Amana food, but it's really an American variation of German food.
Head chef John Jenny cooks up hundreds of chops each day, including Ox Yoke's most popular version, their honey apple pork chop.
You got your apple cider right here, and your honey, obviously, to be the hero here. You got pepper, garlic, and your lemon juice, and a little bit of soy sauce, but not too much of that. Good stir, make sure the honey is mixed in real well. What you want to do is take your marinade, so it's evenly coated, a little bit on the bottom. Take your honey apple pork chop, then pour a little bit on top. And that's gonna need at least a 24-hour marinade for all that to soak in. Once it's been marinating, I'll take it to the grill, sear it on each side for about, I'd say, maybe 30 seconds, and throw it on the charbroil for an additional 4 minutes. And that's how we traditionally do it, and we've been doing it for over 70 years, so this is our famous honey apple pork chop.
This is fantastic. It's grilled. Iowa has the best pork going, in my opinion, and this is the best example of preparation.
They give you a sharp knife, but we didn't really need it. It's so tender, it's so good, and so it's
We
just...
didn't realize that.
Yeah, I know. I noticed you weren't even using yours, so...
Love
it.
It's very tender, slight citrusy glaze on there. This is perfect.
The thing that amazes me about it is it isn't like any kind of pork that I would buy in a supermarket and fix at home. It's thicker, and as always, every meat they fix here is tender. It seems to be marinated in its own juice, so it cuts easily with a fork. It's almost like a dessert and a meat combined.
Another timeless favorite here is the Jaeger Schnitzel, a cracker-coated pork cutlet that's so hearty, it was traditionally served before hunting expeditions.
So right here you have a center pork loin that we cut ourselves, tenderize ourselves. What you want to do is dip it in the egg wash, then run it through your cracker meal mix, generously coat it. You want to get plenty of butter on there because if you don't, half of it's going to be dry and you're going to have an upset customer.
After a margarine dip, the pork loin hits the grill.
When it's about golden brown as it is right now, you want to go and just flip it. Make sure you got butter covering all edges. This is a pork gravy with mushrooms. And this is our famous Jaeger Schnitzel.
The Spätzle, like just about everything else on the Ox Yoke Inn's menu, is a specialty in these parts. Back in 1855, German immigrants founded the 7 villages that make up this area, known as the Amana Colonies.
The Amana Colonies had 55 communal kitchens at one time, and the Ox Yoke Inn was one of them. Our parking lot in those days was a garden, and that was where everything was grown that was served in the communal kitchens. The families that lived around the communal kitchen were assigned to come here for their 3 daily meals as well as 2 snacks during the day. So the men would sit at one table and the women and children would sit at another table. My Father William, my mother Lena founded the restaurant in 1940. Dinners were 65 cents, and you could get the complete family-style service for that amount, so it was an amazing value.
Today, the Amana colonies are a National Historic Landmark, and the Ox Yoke Inn continues to serve up German-inspired food, alongside a variety of hearty dishes, including steak, roast beef, and fried chicken. Just make sure to finish up with one of their award-winning desserts.
We have German chocolate cake, apple strudel, rhubarb meringue, and rhubarb streusel.
Rhubarb custard pie is a delicious favorite. It's got a light, crumbly top on it with the tartness on the inside, and it doesn't stay on the plate very long.
I only want to know one thing. How come we only got one piece of pie?
Over the years, the Ox Yoke Inn has won numerous awards for their food and has even been named one of the 1,000 restaurants to visit before you die. But perhaps the greatest reward is seeing generations of customers come back time and time again.
In German, I would say, "Lass dein Essen gut geschmecken." That would mean, let your food be the best. And that's the way it is here at the Ox Yoke Inn.
Our next stop on the road to Hog Heaven is Huntington, Indiana. This town is known for inventing one of the biggest, juiciest, crispiest, most pig-tastic meals ever slapped on a bun: the breaded pork tenderloin sandwich. People come from all over America just to get a bite of this meaty meal, and they get the original right here at the oldest restaurant in Huntington, Nick's Kitchen.
Nick's Kitchen is known for its breaded pork tenderloin. We sell lots of breaded pork tenderloins every day, and people come from all over the United States to have them.
If you come to Huntington, you eat at Nick's.
I'm not even from Huntington. I only come to Huntington to eat at Nick's Kitchen. For the pork tenderloin sandwich, it's like heaven on a bun or something like that. We just love it.
We came all the way from Delaware. These are always on our agenda. And they deep fry it, which is really bad, but it is really good.
They're good at it. They're known for it around the country. People move away and come back just to get it. People make pit stops when they're traveling across the country to get it. People who have been all over it say it's the best.
Jean Ann Bailey makes her breaded pork tenderloins the same way they were done by original owner Nick Fryenstein back in 1904. It all starts with a 4-ounce pork loin, cut specially for Nick's.
The pork is a center-cut pork loin, and that is the most lean pork.
The first secret to making Nick's famous pork sandwich is how they treat their meat. Every morning, Jean Ann uses a mallet to prep the fresh pork patties, a technique she's perfected over a lifetime of making these sandwiches.
My father and mother bought the restaurant in 1969. I was washing dishes, pounding tenderloins when I was 10 years old.
After a good pounding, the pork loin takes a dip in Nick's signature marinade, a combination of buttermilk, eggs, and flour.
Then we bread it in saltine cracker crumbs, and then we deep fry it.
Once the tenderloin is golden brown and crunchy, it's layered with onions, lettuce, and tomatoes on a 5-inch bun. You can fly straight to pork paradise on these meat wings.
Here we go. Oh, that is nice.
It's a Hoosier favorite. The slogan is, bet you need both hands, because the sandwich is so big.
They weren't kidding when they said you would need 2 hands. It was just the best tenderloin I've ever had.
Tenderloin is crispy on the outside, and it's got a really nice, rich pork flavor on the inside.
I'm having the mini. I obviously don't need the large one because they're huge. I throw a little coleslaw on because I like slaw on my sandwiches, so that just gives it the extra touch.
It is extremely juicy. I have dripped a lot of it on my daughter as I'm eating it. It's very good. It's delicious.
Even if they've never heard of Nick's famous pork tenderloin sandwich, passers-by can't resist walking into Nick's Kitchen once they get a whiff of what's cooking.
When you walk into Nick's, the first thing that you smell is the bacon cooking. It's awesome. We used to have it cooking most of the day. And people have told us that we need to bottle that smell of that bacon and we could make $1 million.
The locals all say no meal at Nick's is complete without a frosty hand-dipped milkshake or a slice of Jean Ann's famous sugar cream pie. An irresistible blend of butter, sugar, and cream, topped with a sprinkle of cinnamon.
Jean Ann makes the best sugar cream pie. The milkshakes are phenomenal. I'm a sweet girl. I like the sweets. I like the sweets.
What about you? Did you like your strawberry shake?
Oh, that was amazing.
Nick's Kitchen is serving up a taste of America's rich pork history with every sandwich served.
Other restaurants try to compete with Nick's Kitchen, but they just can't. This is the best of the best.
I've been told many times that Nick's is an institution. The breaded pork tenderloin sandwich has been famous for so long that obviously we are a pork lover's paradise.
Take 2 hands to eat it. Man, that's good, huh?
Our next piglet playground is right in the heart of Miami, Florida, South Beach. Here you can watch hot bodies frolic on the sand, enjoy a hand-rolled cigar, and find your fill of the best Cuban food in the States. But of all the places here that cater to the local Cuban crowd, Puerto Sagua is the one known for serving up Puerco Paradiso by the plate load.
Definitely Cubans are making it back there. The very first time we came, the line was out the door. And we waited and waited, and it was worth it. So, yeah.
I've had Cuban food several times in my life, and this is fantastic. This is very homemade, home style.
Pork is the centerpiece on every Cuban table and a go-to on this menu. Puerto Sagua serves 10 unique pork dishes, but numero uno on that list is pernil asado, pork shoulder.
Pulled pork shoulder. I would say that's a very typical Cuban dish. It's a recipe everybody uses, but everybody basically tones it into their own style. It's the same one we've been doing for 44 years. We first poke the shoulder so that we can, put the marinade inside the meat. 2 tablespoons of salt, garlic. As you can see, he massages the meat very well so that the flavor really attaches to the meat. And 2 cups of the mojito, which is the homemade marinade. It's made out of vinegar, sour orange, garlic, salt, and oregano. And that's it.
Once the fatty pork shoulder is saturated with all that Cuban goodness, it's roasted off for 2.5 hours until fork tender and ready for shredding. The shredded pernil asado is served simply, topped with sautéed white onion rings and a generous dousing of that oh-so-magical mojito sauce.
I thought it was very good, cooked perfectly. Definitely, you can tell they put a lot of effort and pride into their food.
It's amazing. The pork is delicious. It was slow cooked. It's marinated in its own juices. And like some peppers and some salt, some lime. They came with some onion, I think some chilies in there. The flavors are amazing. Everything goes really well with the rice, so couldn't ask for more.
The pernil asado has been a hot seller since owner David Rivero's grandfather bought Puerto Sagua in 1968. Another longtime crowd pleaser is masas de puerco fritas, or fried pork chunks. Everyone knows the best way to make a good dish better is to deep fry it. And that's exactly what makes these crunchy, juicy bites of pork so irresistible.
We're gonna marinate the meat. We're putting in bay leaves, salt, garlic, paprika, and lemon juice. We're gonna mix it all up, massage the meat real good with the seasoning so the flavor really grasps into the meat.
After marinating for a couple of hours, the chunks take a quick dip in the fat fryer. Then it's time to dig in.
I had the fried pork chunks, and they tasted excellent. My mother used to cook things and fry them with the onions, and it took me back to when I was a kid. Very tasty.
But no Cuban menu would be complete without the country's signature pressed pork sandwich, the Cubano.
So he's gonna start with the butter. We're gonna put out 2 slices of pork, 2 slices or 2.5 slices of cheese, and last but not least, a little bit of mustard. And there you have it, your typical Cuban sandwich. We sell right about anywhere between 100 and 125 of them a day.
We had a Cuban sandwich a couple days ago at a quote nicer place down the beach. This is 10 times better than that was, much better. That's a good Cuban sandwich right there.
I primarily come for the Cuban sandwich. I've had a few other places and it's just not as good as here. That's why I always come back here. It's one of the best Cuban sandwiches, I guess the best in my opinion, because I keep coming back.
Puerto Sagua also serves the Cuban sandwich's late-night cousin, the Medianoche.
Right now we're making the Medianoche, or the midnight sandwich. It's very similar to the Cuban. The differences are the bread. The type of bread is more of an egg roll. The theory behind it, what I've heard, is being lighter, you're supposed to be able to eat it at night and not be so heavy. Most of the people are coming here to go out and dance and have themselves a good time, and they're usually going home and they stop off for breakfast.
For Caribbean food lovers out there, the whole menu is filled with Cuban specialties, like fried green plantains, chicken with yellow rice, shredded beef, and rice pudding. And after 44 years on the shores of South Beach, Puerto Sagua is still excited to share that Cuban flavor with anyone who wants a taste.
We cater to everybody. We've become a part of South Beach, and South Beach is just part of us. We're an institution.
Puerto Sagua is a pork paradise. So if you're in Miami and you're looking for the place to go that's the best in Cuban, Puerto Sagua is where it's at.
Our search for pork paradise continues in Fort Worth, where Texans are tops when it comes to prepping a whole pig. Here, along the banks of the Trinity River, you'll find the Woodshed Smokehouse. Chef Tim loves homage to all things roasted, smoked, grilled, and braised over an open fire, particularly pig.
It's like nothing you've ever tasted before.
Chef Love does an outstanding job of bringing out the flavors and the textures and the tenderness of meat without heavy sauces. He's just brilliant with his spices and his preparations.
Each day, the Woodshed Smokehouse features an animal of the day, roasted or smoked on a spit right in the front window. They even fly a flag outside to let you know what's cooking. And today, they're going whole hog.
Pork has such a great opportunity to slow roasting it and getting this beautiful meat. And when we roast the meat and change the meat into something else, it's really spectacular.
Chef Tim starts with a pig from the local co-op slaughterhouse, which he brines in a bath of garlic and chili flakes. Then he slices it open and seasons it with his special wild game rub of guajillo chili and fresh herbs.
Pretty good, just about good on anything, even cereal. Put on cereal, it'll surprise you.
After hog tying it to a spit, Chef Tim gives it another rub down with his signature seasonings, then proudly marches his soon-to-be divine swine through the woodshed and places it over a burning mesquite wood fire for all to see. 5 to 6 hours later, voila.
And we slowly just break it down, as simple as it sounds. Pull these hindquarters off, and we save all this skin because we're gonna use that for the crackling. So we pull this off, and then you take this and we pull this, all this fatty rib meat like this, and mix it in with the tenderloin. It gives unbelievable variety of texture, because what we want people to say is, wow, I'm getting a piece of everything. How cool is that?
From this sweet meat, Chef Tim constructs the Woodshed's most popular porky treat, pork tacos.
It's about 5 ounces of meat, enough for 3 tacos. Get some fresh limes, 3 nice hot tortillas. Then we finish with a little cotija cheese. This is like a Mexican Parmesan. And then finally, our 2 salsas. Salsa cruda, which is a Peruvian jalapeno sauce made with white vinegar and sugar. And this is salsa madre, made with toasted red onions and toasted oregano, a little bit of salt. Very simple, but we're missing one thing. Remember those cracklings I was talking about, the skin? We fry them up, and this is the texture for your taco. Nice and crunchy. That's beautiful right there.
You are enjoying the layers of pork. It is not being covered by heavy sauces. It's bringing the meat to a whole new level that you will not get anywhere else.
It's really meaty tasting and good, and the lime really brings out the flavor.
The Woodshed Smokehouse is Chef Tim Love's 3rd restaurant in the Fort Worth area. Since opening in February 2012, hungry folks have been pulling off the bike trail in the restaurant's backyard to join the swine soiree.
Coming into the woodshed is really coming into Texas heaven, in my opinion. First, you smell the smoke from all the different woods burning, and then when you walk in, immediately you feel this kind of sense of place and fun.
Good food, good music, and good times are definitely on the menu here at the Woodshed. It's a grillin' and chillin' style Tim calls urban western.
I don't really feel like I cook Southwestern food. It's more like taking the cultures that settled the West and bringing it to a modern table. All those kind of cultures influence what I do in my way of thinking and cooking.
Another way Chef Tim showcases his unique style of cooking is with his fall-off-the-bone pork ribs.
The ribs are very smooth, very soft. They fall off the bone practically. And they're probably my favorite pork ribs in town.
These are definitely not share with my dog ribs.
We've sold, I think, almost 400 pounds, our biggest day in ribs, which is a lot of ribs.
It's a new experience every time you come here, so you never know what you're going to expect, and it's always good.
Chef Tim even uses the fat drippings from the roasted beasts to make Pitmaster fat, which he serves with fresh-made tortillas and camp bread.
Pitmaster fat is a cup of absolute heaven, as we like to call it. Some people like to use it as lotion, you know, it's that good.
The Pitmaster fat has a very unique flavor. Something I've never experienced before. It is very good, unfortunately. No, fortunately.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
But at the end of the day, the fact that you can just eat the fat itself is pretty badass.
This is so going against everything that fitness is.
That we've ever done.
So what do you do? Oh, teach fitness while I eat fat.
When you can get a fitness instructor to pig out on pork, you know you've achieved porcine perfection. We continue our search for pork paradise on the Hawaiian island of Oahu. Here on the North Shore, tourists can sniff out all sorts of tasty spots for catching rays and waves. But our snouts led us straight to some divine swine. Say aloha to the Ali'i Luau.
We just got engaged, so we're here to enjoy some Polynesian culture and enjoy some good food. We picked the best place and obviously the best food. Yummy. Very yummy.
The Ali'i Luau at the Polynesian Cultural Center in Laie feeds up to 600 guests every night. And while diners enjoy some entertainment and a little culture, they fill up on plate loads of the real star of this show, Kalua pork.
It's super good. It's so fresh. Oh yeah, super tender. And they roast this today. That's the craziest part. They cook this right before the show. It's delicious.
The pork is a very important product or animal for us. And so for the pork, what we call pua'a, is a very important part of our meal. Kalua pig refers to the lua or the pit.
Kalua pig is cooked in a traditional Polynesian oven called an imu. The imu is powered by 900 degrees of red-hot lava rocks. And the rocks are even stuffed inside the pig to make sure this 100-plus pound porker cooks all the way through.
You're going to slice in the shoulders, put in the rocks into the chest cavities. In our case, we use chicken wire to keep it all together. So that's a very important part of the whole process. This cooking method is quite common in all of Polynesia. And that was a very basic method of cooking in large quantities. So theoretically, you can cook an elephant.
The pig rests on a layer of shaved banana tree stumps to keep the pig skin from burning and to help the meat stay juicy. The full-bodied Kalua flavor is developed the same simple way native islanders did it 2,000 years ago. No fancy seasonings, just a little salt and a lot of steam.
Like pressure cooking, over time, it's going to get very tender, very succulent. It's going to be such a delicious flavor. So many people refer to it as shredded pork, only because it kind of falls apart. Because it's so tender, all of the juices have already blended through the meat.
7 hours later, the pig is peeled out of its private sweat lodge.
If you're lucky, it can still stay intact until you can get it into a pot. Sometimes I know we pick it up and it's just falling apart because the flesh melts off all the bone. Yeah, and so that's ready.
The luau officially begins when the pig is presented to the hog-hungry guests.
I'm half Filipino, so I love seeing the actual pig and where it comes from. At a lot of big parties, we would have the actual large pig there, but I feel like not many people get to see that.
After being displayed for the guests, the pig is taken away to a private kitchen where the most succulent meat is pulled off for the buffet.
It's very juicy, it's moist, it's really good. You can tell they put a lot of love in it.
It's tender, it just feels like you don't have to chew. It's so soft and salty and it's good.
Came all the way from Arizona just to do this, just to eat pork. This is good.
We went to a luau in Maui and we didn't have the right game plan. We just went straight for the pork at this one because it's amazing.
Along with the feast, it's always nice to party. You'll have several Polynesian dances and different facades of a broader Polynesia. We're wanting to express that every person that comes to visit us here in the Culture Center is of a royal class. We don't know who you are, but in this point and time, we are family.
Once you've had all you can eat of the Kahlua pork, double back to the buffet, where a bounty of Hawaiian dishes like taro and fresh caught fish surf alongside that sumptuous swine.
The cucumber salad is delicious, isn't it? Oh my gosh. And it's so fresh too, right? They do a great job in filling their buffet with tastes and smells that all come together, and they bring the real Hawaiian taste together.
Any mainlander will tell you, island life is just a little different. They have their own food, they move at their own pace, they even have their own lingo. But you don't have to go native to understand that the Ali'i Luau is truly pork paradise.
Oh, this pork is the best because we made it. Ono for your mouth, yeah.
The last stop on our highway to Hog takes us down to New Orleans. Fat City is the birthplace of Cajun cooking. And there's one place putting all that Louisiana flavor into one pork-filled menu, Cochon.
If you're a vegetarian, this is not a place you'd enjoy.
Well, I'm a huge fan, mostly because of this restaurant and this chef. Anytime I have visitors in town, this is the first place I always take people because you get a great taste of Louisiana. It just is amazing.
The odor is so great. It gets everything churning and, you know, gets you psyched for a good meal.
The name of this Big Easy Hog spot says it all because Cochon uses every part of the pig except the squeal.
Well, we're a pork-centric restaurant, obviously, with Cochon being pig and French. So our focus would definitely be on pork and pig.
Cochon's kitchen runs through almost 1,200 pounds of pork a week. A big hunk of that meat comes from the pig's cheeks, and they prepare them so well, you just want to squeeze them.
The pork cheeks actually have kind of a cult following here at Cochon, you know. I mean, it's a really popular dish, and we always seem to kind of hit home runs with it.
It's almost like brisket, but definitely still a lot more tender.
A three-part cooking process turns the cheek, a naturally chewy cut of pork, into a tender, melt-in-your-mouth experience.
We season them with salt and pepper, and we sear them off in a really hot pan with a minimal amount of fat in there, and we brown them off on both sides. And we braise them for about 3.5 hours, generally, until they're tender.
Then Chef Ben cooks up some corn grits and sauteed mushrooms. They give his cheeks an extra pinch.
Now we're gonna plan our dish up, all right? Take a little bit of our grits, take our braised pork cheeks, put them right over the top. Then last, we're gonna take our sauteed mushrooms. There you have it, that's our braised pork cheeks.
The grits are creamy,
And the pork
they're
cheeks are
just
so
melt in
tender.
your mouth. Oh, tender.
So good, we hit seconds.
I know, I'm starting to get really full.
I mean, the sauce with the creamy, sweet grits with the mushrooms, it's the whole preparation all together was so amazing. I would definitely recommend it. It is a little scary, but that's probably the most adventurous I'm gonna be, probably.
Oh, the pork cheek was so amazing, you know, very tender. The flavors are very smooth, they blend perfectly. I'm not exactly sure what's in this sauce here, but it's whatever they're doing it right.
Cheeks may not be your everyday piece of pork, but it's just the tip of the snout when it comes to unique dishes on the Cochon menu. It's loaded with one-of-a-kind Cajun and Southern-style creations, like rabbit and dumplings, fried alligator, and for fans of pork sausage, boudin balls with pickled peppers.
Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, we've been walking through the Garden District all day, so
You built up an appetite.
this was a great stop, yeah.
And beyond Cajun classics, Cochon features more exotic dishes as well, like fried pig ears, and their famous hogshead cheese, a sour, spicy meat jelly served cold with bread and butter pickles, house-made mustard, and toast points.
Head cheese is just amazing, it really is, it's delicious.
And it's really not a cheese, it's delicious though. And they do a very, very good job of it here. I've had hogshead cheese all my life, and this is probably the best hogshead cheese I've ever had.
I love this.
Cochon is well known for turning foods that might seem questionable into something everyone agrees is delectable.
Oh yeah, I'd come back next time in New Orleans.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Gets better every time.
for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or even dessert. No matter how you like it, the swine is divine.
Pork is amazing because of its versatility.
Americans love their pork. They love the tenderloins, they love the bacon, they love the ham. It's awesome.
Everybody loves pork. I mean, why wouldn't you love pork?
I think a lot of people really love pork because it has a nostalgia to it. It's just great. Makes everybody happy.
That's what the pork is all about. It's good for the body and the soul. There you go.
Whether you like them smothered, smashed, topped with ricotta, deep fried, or as big as your head, we're bringing you the most mouth-watering meatballs across the country.
Saucy and juicy.
I don't think I've ever had a meatball taste this good.
It's incredible how big it is, and yet it disappeared immediately.
It's like an explosion of flavor in your mouth.
Get ready for the most well-rounded meals on the planet, because we're taking you to Meatball Paradise. From hefty balls of beef bathed in bolognese to the creamy Swedish variety served up over egg noodles, nearly every culture can claim the meatball among their favorite comfort foods. And today, meatballs are also rolling out of restaurant kitchens like never before, as chefs across the country elevate these little balls of comfort to spherical culinary sensations, feeding our meatball madness.
There are two types of people, the one that like meatballs and the one that are gonna like meatballs.
Top chefs and even a beginner in the kitchen can make meatballs.
I always order meatballs because I love Italian food and it's a fulfilling dish.
Our mission for Meatball Paradise begins in Northport, New York, a scenic shoreline village on Long Island. This laid-back small town is home to an unconventional restaurant known for its 100-year-old recipe for mouth-watering meatballs that'll have you shouting, Mamma Mia! Yum. Say buongiorno to Maroni cuisine.
Eat meatballs, live longer.
Between the meatballs and the sauce, I don't know how to stop. Can I just eat now?
But the food, it's so different. We loved it the first time and just kept on coming back.
No matter what color, race, creed, whoever you are, everybody loves a meatball, especially if it's a good meatball. And my grandmother made the best meatball on the planet.
Michael Maroney loved his Nona's unusual and economical meatball recipes so much that he based his business on it.
Grandma didn't have much money, but she knew how to cook, and she took a pound of meat, she turned it into about 2.5 pounds of unbelievable lusciousness. 1 pound of ground chuck, some fresh grated onions, fresh garlic, fresh pecorino romano, fresh parsley. We have fresh basil, fresh breadcrumbs, 3 large eggs, whole milk, keep muscles strong. So now we're gonna take this and we're gonna mix it. We're gonna roll them up and we're gonna get them ready for the oven. We're gonna pop them in the oven, 350 for approximately 15 minutes. Okay, so now they're just out of the oven. I'm gonna check them. Delicious, tender, juicy flavor.
And for the ideal Italian accompaniment, Chef Michael's rich pomodoro sauce with fresh basil, served over delightfully al dente Durham Città d'E pasta.
And then we're gonna plate it. Now we're gonna add some meatballs directly onto the plate. Now we're gonna garnish it with a little bit of Romano from the sheep and a little bit of fresh basil. And that's it. Grandma's famous spaghetti and meatballs. This is a part of the tasting menu. Freak out.
Meatballs are spectacular. Texture's good, flavor's great.
These are very tender. They're not greasy, and they're really good.
Meatballs are gorgeous. We're from New York, and this is where we come to eat the best meatballs because this is it.
Maroni first opened in 2001 as a takeout joint for meatballs and a few other dishes. But business was so good, Michael and wife Maria expanded to a full-service restaurant with a twist.
Zucchini flowers.
What do we got here, Mike?
Gabagool.
So when we sat down, we were like, okay, well, where's the menus? And then we're like, what do you mean there's no menus? And they explained to us about the tasting menu. Everything was described to us individually and personally, and it was a really different vibe from what you usually go through.
Maroni's family-style tasting menu takes the hassle out of hemming and hawing over what to have, which means more time to manja those meatballs and the other scrumptious selections coming out of the kitchen.
I have never been to a restaurant where you get so many small portions and one after another, after another, after another.
Meatball Parmesan salad with spicy arugula.
And here we have Cape Cod shrimp.
Once you go into a restaurant, you're there to eat. You're not there to be tormented and torn between the crab cocktail or the sweetbreads. You just need to eat.
On the off chance you're still hungry or feel like having meatballs for breakfast, Maroni makes meatballs to go in a reusable hot pot.
We're gonna put the meatballs on, a little fresh Romano on top, and then we do a little bit of fresh basil, and then we put the lid on top, boom, and there's your pot of spaghetti and meatballs.
Well, we come by boat from Connecticut. It's about an hour trip. We'll come in the fall, but we'll buy a bunch of meatballs and freeze them and eat them all winter.
Meatballs are fabulous.
Almost as popular as the menu and the meatballs are the hosts.
Come here because they are so hands-on and we love them. It's warm. It's like family.
He always comes out, goes up to tables. When you talk about paradise, think about food, happiness, and comfortable, and that's really what you get here when you come for dinner.
It's really magnificent. We call it our happy place.
From the shores of Long Island, the next stop on our meatball marathon is an hour's drive west to Manhattan's Lower East Side. This historic neighborhood was once a melting pot of working-class immigrants, but a recent reinvention has brought in a hip crowd hungry for the latest haute cuisine. And many are surprised to find it under the unassuming red and white awning of a place simply called the Meatball Shop.
I think it's genius. These are some of the best meatballs I've ever had. They're juicy and the sauces are delicious.
Co-owners Michael Chernow and Daniel Holzman may not have invented the meatball, but they are at the forefront of a modern meatball movement taking Manhattan by storm.
The first thing on our list in New York was eat at the Meatball Shop.
At the Meatball Shop, customization is customary. Guests design their own masterpiece meal by mixing and matching meatballs, sauces, and sides from a checklist menu. And while the menu options are plentiful, Mike and Dan's signature meatball is surprisingly traditional.
Our #1 top-selling meatball is the classic beef meatballs, naked in a bowl.
The Meatball Shop's meatballs are made daily from the freshest ingredients.
I've got the beef shoulder cut, which is the chuck. And you can see that the meat has a bit of fat on it. That's gonna actually add a lot of moisture to the end product. I'm gonna go right in the bowl. And then my 2 teaspoons of salt, a half a teaspoon of chili flakes, a teaspoon and a half of fennel seed, a half a cup of fresh oregano, and a half a cup of parsley. We have some of these old baguettes, and we actually will just grind those up with the meats. And then the last kind of ingredient that we add to our beef meatballs is ricotta cheese, and it gives it a really distinct fluffiness.
After all the ingredients are prepped, they are then ground together to make a mouth-watering meatball mixture.
And then the last step is just a couple of eggs to help bind everything together. They're like the glue that hold the meatball together. We use an ice cream scoop, which helps us to portion them out, and I like to line them up like good little soldiers, all nice and even. I'm gonna pop these in the oven at 425 degrees for 15 to 17 minutes.
Once the meatballs come out of the oven, they are locked and loaded to the customer's order, whether they like their balls smothered or smashed, served over pasta, potatoes, polenta, or veggies.
We have 4 meatballs. They're on the menu every single day: beef, chicken, veggie, and spicy pork. And of course, there's a special ball that you can taste as well. We have 4 different sauces on the menu every day: mushroom gravy, classic tomato sauce, spicy meat sauce, and then Parmesan cream sauce.
I don't think I've ever had a meatball taste this good.
That's what I expect of a meatball. It's not dry, but it's not too liquidy. So it's kind of like a perfect combination.
Reminds me of my mom and my grandmother's meatballs from home.
It may taste like Mama makes, but there's nothing basic about this beefy bad boy, especially when you start adding the Epicurean extras.
So up on top is naked balls. That's just 4 meatballs in a bowl with your choice of sauce. You have an option to add any of these sides.
Do you want mushroom or Parmesan cream sauce? All right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Prior to mobilizing this meatball madness, Dan and Mike grew up together in the New York restaurant grind, starting out as delivery boys and working their way up. Today, they have 3 thriving locations, serving 6,000 meatballs a day.
It's a meatball-centric restaurant, so The meatballs are the main course. They're accessible and they're inherently inexpensive, so we could afford to use the top quality ingredients that we'd kind of come to expect when we go to a restaurant.
And given their main dish's inherent funny factor, Dan and Mike are having, well, a ball.
Anything, I mean anything, can be turned into a meatball.
Easter was coming up, and we were like, what are we gonna do for Easter? And we thought, well, you know, bunny balls. We'll do bunny balls for Easter, we'll make it from rabbit.
Jingle balls for Christmas.
We'll be traveling and we'll find something that we really love, you know, down in New Orleans, jambalaya, come back excited and say, let's make jambalaya balls. Or, you know,
The ball that's coming soon is Nacho Mama balls.
There's Nacho Mama.
Ball jokes aside, the Meatball Shop has become the city's go-to comfort food canteen.
When we and the people that work with us and our friends are happy, realistically, everybody else follows suit. I believe that that's actually the energy and the environment and the atmosphere that we've set out to create and what's actually happened.
It's like quintessential New York, but it's real and it's not over the top.
I'm having the most amazing meal of my life.
This is paradise.
Our continuing quest for meatball bliss rolls on to the meat streets of downtown Philadelphia. Here, the cheesesteak is champ. But there's a new contender for the title of Philly's food of choice. The Marabella Meatball Company is ready to rumble.
I'm getting tired of the same old cheesesteak in Philadelphia, and I want a good meatball sandwich.
We're the first ones in Philadelphia to open a meatball sandwich shop. And there's a lot of Italian restaurants that have meatballs on the menu, but not like we do.
Chef and owner Gabe Marabella introduced Philly to the idea of meatballs as a main course. And the locals love them, packing away as many as 600 a day. Marabella's menu is built on 4 types of meatballs and an array of awesome toppings. In fact, you could eat here every day for years and never have the same thing twice.
We'd have to go out and get a mathematician to really find out how many combinations of all the meatballs and toppings we could do at Marabella Meatballs.
But no matter what meal strikes your mood, the bestseller and still champion is their mainstay meatball sandwich. The beef meatball is an old family recipe, courtesy of Gabe's Italian grandmother.
These are dynamite. The meatball sandwich at Marabella's tasted amazing.
We use chuck, which is 80 meat, 20 fat. This is our roux. This is made with the fresh herbs, the cheese, the eggs, our fresh breadcrumbs that we make every day. So we're gonna mix the roux into the meat. I'm gonna roll the meatballs. We wanna make sure it's firm and tight, otherwise they'll break apart.
45 minutes at $3.75, and these burger balls are ready to become the centerpiece of Marabella's masterpiece, like the ever-popular classic meatball sandwich.
The first person will put the meatballs on a roll. I will cheese it. We toast the sandwich for about a minute. We want to get a little color on the bread and make sure the cheese is melted. I'll cut it in half and I'll put it in the basket.
I ordered the classic, but it's fantastic. As far as meatballs go, this is the best. The freshest, the tastiest.
Marabella's uses the finest Italian cheeses, sauces, and toppings to turn traditional sandwich favorites into meatball magic.
We're putting spinach on meatballs and ricotta cheese, prosciutto, and I don't think anybody ever did that. I think meatballs are fabulous. I would rather have a meatball than a hamburger. I think the meatball should replace the hamburger.
The chicken parm I never really had with the meatball. It was a different texture and made it taste even better.
I got a pork Philly sandwich. It was really good. The meatballs were great. They were really moist. The broccoli rabe was great.
I'm eating the pork olive. It's a little bit salty. Reminds me of martinis, which I like to drink so much.
Whether you choose a sandwich classic or opt to mix and match your own meal, Marabella's traditional Italian ingredients will transport your taste buds back to the old country. A lifelong restaurateur, Gabe thought he was done with the dining trade after selling his last 8 restaurants in the late 90s.
All our kids played sports in college, and we used to tailgate after the games, and we'd always bring our meatballs. And everybody came to our tailgate, and we couldn't make enough meatballs, and my wife said, let's open up a meatball company.
Marabella's Meatball Company is family-owned and operated, continuing the traditions into the next generation with their family staple, the meatball.
This is my daughter, Jessica.
Hello.
It makes it feel like a family atmosphere when you walk in. You just want to come down, sit down with your family, and you feel like you're at home.
Philly's a bigger city with a small town feel. So I think Marabella Meatball Company is true to the city vibe, and that you're going to know who's making your meatball because it's the guy that's serving it to you.
Marabella's Meatball Company is leading the charge of Philly's meatball mania.
I'm not surprised that meatballs are so popular. This mania is it was bound to happen, this phenomenon.
I'm part of the mania.
But can Meatball Mania knock out the reigning champion of Philly's food scene?
In Philly, everyone just goes and gets cheesesteaks. Like, that's like the thing. But this is a little bit different. It's almost like a cheesesteak, but it's not. It's better. It's more filling. It's more satisfying, and it's different.
I love Marabella Meatball Company.
We head next to Midlothian, Illinois. And out here, the meatball sandwich is huge. Literally. Located 20 miles south of Chicago, this Midwestern town is home to an Italian family eatery where they serve a mammoth 10-pound meatball sub. Feast your eyes on Bartolini's, where beefy brothers Christopher and Dominic Bartolini challenge their hungriest patrons to take their balls of meat to the max.
It is definitely worth the 6-hour drive to come to Bartolini's to eat this meatball sub.
They have the best, most flavorful, awesomest meatballs.
When it comes to meatballs, we're the pros.
Our meatball recipe comes from our grandfather and my mom's dad. And what we do special was that we use Toronto bread. We soak it in water, then we press it, which makes our meatballs nice, fluffy, and give a nice bite to them.
These meatball pros are trained chefs who put their money where your mouth is by betting customers can't finish one of their tremendous 10-pound meatball sandwiches. Think you've got what it takes? Before you get elbows deep in Bartolini's orbs of beef and pork, you may want to take a closer look at what you're up against.
Everything has to equal 10 pounds, so everything on the sandwich is weighed out to be equal. So we do 42-ounce meatballs, which is 5 pounds, 1.5 pounds of red gravy, do 1 pound of the sweet peppers, 1.5 pounds of mozzarella cheese, and then the Toronto bread, which is going to be 1 pound. 10 pounds all day, kids.
15 minutes in the oven, and this 3-foot-long mega sub is ready to take on any and all meatball munchers. Devour this legendary behemoth by yourself in 3 hours or less, and it's free. Fail, and you'll have to fork over $40 for the meaty monster.
To you, family, here's your 10-pound meatball challenge.
But as daunting as it is, there are plenty eager to take the challenge. And the Bartolinis have graciously opened the challenge to teams. But can a family of 7 succeed? It's a gluttonous game on.
1, 2, 3, you crew!
The U Crew starts out promisingly enough. But this family is bested by the Meatball Mission Impossible.
Can't finish it, babe.
I think there's 8 still in there.
I thought everybody did pretty well. It was tough, but it was delicious.
Meatball Sandwich 1, U Crew 0. Time to bring in the Dream Team. Can 3 professional eaters take down this meatball mammoth?
We're here to beat the 3-man challenge. The time is 17 minutes and some odd seconds. Right now I'm with a heck of a team right here. We're gonna try to walk this baby down.
3, 2, 1, meatball! 8 minutes and 7 seconds, a new record!
Now that's a meatball beatdown. Not interested in the whole sandwich and just want to get your protein on for big prize money? Bartolini's ups the ante with their annual Meatball Eating Championship. Contestants get 7 minutes to chow down in front of a cheering crowd.
We're at the 7th annual Meatball Championship, and we're so excited that everybody comes out.
All right, boys, ready? 3, 2, 1, meatball! When people do come to do it, they are the top of the world. They are running with it. Next thing you know, they start hitting what they call the meat wall. And the meat wall, they start getting the meat shakes.
And the meat shakes come with a side of the meat sweats. At the end of 7 minutes of meatball madness, a winner is crowned, taking home the trophy and some fat cash, $2,500.
This year's new champ, Jamie the Bear McDonald, 45 meatballs in 7 minutes.
Contestant or customer, the Bartolini brothers are happy to feed your meatball habit year-round. Between their meatball challenge, meatball appetizer, meatball pizza, meatball pasta, and even a meatball omelet, Bartolini's rolls and doles out more than 250 pounds of porky, beefy balls each week.
We get a lot of compliments on our balls. People love our meatballs.
They're nice, they're juicy, and they're quite large.
The Bartolini meatball, probably the best meatball I've ever had.
When I take that meatball and I put it in my mouth, I just close my eyes and I picture a nice sandy beach with a big old palm tree. It makes me happy.
Our trek for the tastiest meatballs takes us way down south to Tomball, Texas. Because any food with meat in its name is gonna be pretty darn good around these parts. Located north of Houston's hustle and bustle, one friendly neighborhood trattoria takes traditional Italian meatballs and throws in a true Texan twang. Tombolini's is where the Italian boot meets the cowboy boot. Tombolini's boasts that these are much more than the best little meatballs in Texas.
These are the best meatballs you can get anywhere.
The kitchen cranks out 6 different kinds of meatballs, all of which start out with a tasty Texas twist.
Texans love their barbecue, they love their brisket, and so we came out with a Texan meatball.
I ordered the Texan meatballs. They were fabulous. Really good.
The cowboy-inspired combo beef balls are methodically deep fried at a very specific temperature before being sent to the oven.
We don't want our meatballs to be burned. We want it to be crispy but not burned. So by not using hot oil, that's the secret. They're very moist inside.
The fried and baked beef bonanza is then topped with Tombolini's Texas Rosa sauce. Their special recipe tomato sauce laced with the Lone Star's favorite flavor, barbecue.
My favorite meatball is the Texan. The one with the brisket and the barbecue sauce. It's my favorite. I'm a Texan, so of course I love the Texan meatball.
They're very moist, that's what I like. They're very soft and lots of flavor.
The quality of the meat makes a huge difference. There's not too much spice, not too little spice. It's got a very nice flavor, a nice finish.
Another popular meatball is their signature beef ball, humbly referred to as the world's greatest meatball.
It lives up to the name.
When you take a bite, all the flavors go rushing through your taste buds.
It's your basic meatball, but we think the way we make it is the greatest you'll ever have. We start with 100% Angus chuck beef. We use Italian spices and some other secret ingredients, of which I can't tell you because I don't want people to know them.
One of the secrets they do divulge is that the owner's father expertly rolls that top quality meat into balls of beefy goodness, fresh every day.
Each meatball, one by one, is hand rolled in our kitchen. You do it by hand, better than any mixing machine. It just makes it different.
Grandpa Tombolini brought his generations-old family recipe to the Lone Star State in April 2011.
He learned to do it himself when I was in college because he used to remember his grandmother making them.
You know, my mom's Italian, and you know, they're like better than hers. And you know, hers are pretty good too, but you know, they have a lot of flavor.
So for me, it takes like homemade, delicious, and scrumptious.
Many come for the curious taste of Texas meets Italy, but the Tombolinis proudly serve 5 other family formulas of sauce.
We have the Rosa, we have the Arrabbiata, we have the Paisano, we have the Pesto, and we have the Bianca. People call it as the Alfredo, but we call it the Jewel. And it's such a secret that the ingredients are not even spoken in the kitchen. We just don't talk about it, we just make it.
To satisfy any appetite, their thick, rich, savory sauces can be served over a selection of Tombolini's unique meatball creations. The Italiano gets its kick from spicy Italian sausage. The Portobello is packed with mushrooms. And the Tomball is an all-natural ground turkey ball.
We did two meatballs what people have done with pizza. We added different variety. You can pick any meatball in any sauce and combine it as you will, but your way is gonna be the best way, the way you like it.
If decisions are getting you down, the Sampler will give your taste buds the grand tour of Tombolini's treats.
We thought that it would be nice to just get the 6 meatball starter, and then you could try them all at once.
And in fine Italian fashion, customers can choose to chop their meatballs in a sandwich, over pasta, and even on pizza.
It's like you're taking back to Italy. It's the spices that they use in their meats. You can smell it outside even, so it's fantastic.
And though Tombolini's hasn't been open very long, the neighborhood meatball joint is really on a roll.
I've been coming here since it opened, and they just make really good meatballs.
We believe to be the best meatballs in the world. They're that good. The only problem is it's hard to just eat a few. You'll eat more and more and more.
You know what? That's probably the world's greatest meatball.
The road to meatball paradise next winds north, bound for the tiny village of Sister Bay, Wisconsin. This remote waterfront community is less than 3 square miles and is the unlikely home to what may just be the best Swedish meatball this side of Stockholm. Just look for the 4-legged greeters grazing the sod-covered roof of Al Johnson's Swedish restaurant and boutique.
This is the best meatball I ever had.
They just taste different than meatballs we're used to. It's nice to come up here and get a little taste of Sweden.
The menu is a veritable smorgasbord of authentic Swedish cuisine. And with this being cow country, you can bet they serve up some mean beef meatballs.
The way we make our meatballs is a little different than a lot of Swedish recipes. Most call for a mix of pork and beef. We use 100% beef. We mix it in with our Swedish limpa bread, salt, sugar, eggs, and that's pretty much it.
Perfect.
Then meatball making magic happens.
Our meatball machine, we just loaded and started. They just come just about 1 ounce. So now we're gonna brown it. We just put them in a fryer for like 20 seconds. Once they're all done, we can just put them in the pan. Pour some gravy on them, just so it covers the meatballs.
Frying first, followed by a beef gravy bath, is what makes Swedish meatballs unique in a world dominated by their Italian counterparts. Bake at 350 for 3 hours, and you've got soft, gravy-infused balls of beef that are just fantastic.
This is a nice, mild, satisfying flavor. The meat was very finely ground and very well mixed.
It's like juicy, and some of this stuff down here kind of makes it more juicy.
That stuff is lingonberry sauce, a staple of Swedish cuisine eaten on meats and sweets alike.
I like the gravy on them, and they're good with the lingonberries too.
Lingonberries is kind of a cross between a currant and a mountain berry, they call them sometimes, or maybe even a cranberry. The lingonberries grow wild throughout Scandinavian countries. We serve more and sell more than any place in all of North America with the exception of IKEA.
But unlike IKEA, here at Al Johnson's, delivery is always included. And you can bet there will be no parts left over when you've finished your meatball masterpiece.
I think of this place, I think with meatballs and pancakes with lingonberries.
And the lingonberries go great on everything.
The home of all beef Swedish meatballs, Al Johnson's also takes some liberties with Sweden's other signature dish, Swedish pancakes.
I'm gonna spread these out, try to make them as rectangular and as thin as I can. My grandmother started this because we were making them one at a time, round, like you would typically see them, and we were going too slow. So she said, give me the spatula, get out of my way. Although she said it in Swedish, and this is how she started doing them.
They're really thin, like paper thin, and they have an altogether different flavor than a regular, big, thick, fluffy pancake.
Swedish pancakes, they have are very, very nice. In fact, it's a toss-up coming here today whether I would have the meatball dish or have the breakfast with the Swedish pancakes.
Al Johnson opened the restaurant in 1949 with his mother as head cook, bringing old world Swedish meals to the Lake Michigan masses. Today, his son Rolf rules the roost. For most visitors, the restaurant's name might not ring a bell. They just know the place for its fine food and its most distinct exterior feature.
Usually people know the place with the goats on the roof, and they don't necessarily know it by the name of Al Johnson's Swedish Restaurant. But the sod on the roof is actually a Scandinavian thing. It's historically done when buildings were built into the berm of a hill or whatnot, and it wouldn't be unusual to see an animal grazing up there.
The sod helps insulate the building, while the goats serve as four-legged lawnmowers. And thanks to technology, avid goat watchers don't even have to be here to see them work.
A friend of mine was making pancakes one day, and we decided it'd be neat if there was a camera up on the roof, and he said, yeah, we'll call it the goat cam.
From the goats grazing on the roof, to the appropriately attired staff, Swedish boutique, and of course, the amazing meatballs. Al Johnson's is a little slice of Sweden in cheesehead country.
I haven't been to Sweden, but this is probably as close as I'll get.
The irony of all the meatballs in front of me and the fact that I'm the sole butcher back there, I'm also a vegetarian. The meatball speaks for itself. It's a darn good meatball. Anybody can make an Italian meatball, but not everybody can make a Swedish meatball.
Meatballs!
Our pursuit of perfect meatballs takes us now to New Orleans, a city with a culinary tradition as rich and complex as its history. Stand aside traditional meatballs, because meatballs from the Big Easy are like New Orleans itself, something else.
Mais chat, that's good.
Stumbling distance from fabled Bourbon Street, hungry patrons are lured into Something Else Cafe for an irresistible local favorite, the Boudin Ball.
The Boudin balls are delicious. I order them every time I come.
It's not like any Italian meatballs. I'm Italian, so I can say that.
Saw the Boudin balls on the menu, and we're like, oh my God, we've got to have those. The Boudin balls are absolutely fabulous.
The Boudin balls is a little bit of heaven.
But just what are Boudin balls?
Our Boudin balls are a Cajun-style meatball.
Here in Cajun country, Boudin is sausage traditionally stuffed with a seasoned pork and rice mixture.
When the Cajun family would get together and they would slaughter a pig, and then they would take those pigs and use every part. The Boudin was actually made from the scraps. Nowadays, they use, prime cut meat.
We take the Boudin out of the sausage casing and form it as a ball.
The Boudin balls at Something Else Cafe are a mix of pork, rice, cayenne, and other secret ingredients. They're shaped to the size of a golf ball, then dunked in an egg wash, rolled in breading, and dipped in the fryer. Deep frying makes the thin, crunchy crust that surrounds the supple sausage meat inside extra delicious.
It's like an explosion of flavor in your mouth.
There's no comparison. It's just one of those signature Cajun things.
You can find Boudin balls on other menus around town, but the balls at Something Else come smothered in their secret weapon.
And we have our own twist on it and serve it with a sauce that we keep secret.
No one knows what the special sauce is, but they keep serving it, so we keep coming. Wonderful.
The precise recipe may be a Something Else secret, but they let us have a peek at part of the process. The special sauce starts out with a heavy-duty mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Cajun seasoning, and Worcestershire sauce. Whisk it up until it tastes right. Then it's ready to be served with the Boudin balls.
The sauce that's made with the Boudin balls, it's seasoned perfectly. It makes the Boudin balls stand out beautifully.
There's a little bit of spicy if you like spicy food, but the sauce complements it really well.
The story behind Something Else and those famous saucy sausage balls starts with two friends fishing. After cleaning and cooking their catch, Craig and Blaine realized they could turn their southern Louisiana upbringing and shared passion for fine food into restaurant success.
Omelet.
We wanted to have something totally different. So when we were sitting down and we were trying to come up with the menu, the word Something Else just kept coming up. So I looked at Craig and said, I think this is it, Something Else Cafe. And he's like, yeah, man, that sounds great.
We put the Boudin balls on the menu because it was something that Blaine and I had always eaten. We wanted locals and tourists to actually have an authentic dining experiences like you would get at our grandmother's house.
There you go, guys. Bon appetit. How's the food?
Merci. It's awesome.
Awesome. All right.
And since 2009, the home-style food at Something Else Cafe has enchanted locals, tourists, and transplants alike.
And every time I come home, I demand to come to Something Else Cafe to have a good home-cooked meal.
You feel like you're coming into somebody's kitchen.
And the signature meatball swimming in secret sauce isn't the only unique thing coming out of Something Else Cafe's kitchen.
You won't go in many places and find alligator corn dogs or watermelon margaritas. You know, everything is made from scratch here.
The unique menu at Something Else Cafe even attracts Cajun cuisine-loving celebs, scouring the French Quarter for boudin balls and other New Orleans delicacies.
Mos Def comes in here all the time. He loves our sweet potato cheesecake. He buys it by the pie. Anderson Cooper, he ate here 3 times a day.
Next time you're in New Orleans, stop at Something Else Cafe and try the boudin balls. They're great.
That's some good boudin balls, yeah.
Our balls are amazing.
Our search for meatball paradise concludes in Las Vegas, Nevada. And in the city that's legendary for excess and indulgence, they sport some serious balls. In the middle of the Palazzo Resort and Casino sits Lavo, a Southern Italian eatery. And if you order the meatball here, you better be willing to go all in.
Whenever I come to Vegas, I always come to Lavo and get the meatballs. They're so tender and so delicious.
Saucy and juicy.
People think Vegas, they think big. And they see it when it comes out, and it's 1 pound, it's big, it takes up the table, and you're like, wow, and it creates that wow factor.
What makes Lavo a major meatball player is the sheer size of the meatballs themselves. The signature Kobe meatball tips the scales at 1 pound of belly-filling goodness.
It comes as a 1 pound meatball, but at Lavo, it certainly can feed a family or a group of 5 to 6 people.
All meatballs should be softball sized.
It's incredible how big it is, and yet it disappeared immediately.
But just as robust as the size of this round mound of meat is the phenomenal taste. This burly beef bomb is a flavor explosion waiting to happen. And it's armed with double-baked Kobe beef, along with a potent combination of meats: ground A5 Kobe chuck roll, ground veal, and ground pork. Throw in some dry spices and 1 egg.
Start adding some of the wet ingredients in here. Caramelized onions, fresh white bread, and then for a little bit of added moisture, add a little bit of chicken stock, just a splash. And the key to making meatballs, you don't want to overwork them. So, try to break the meat up best you can and slowly incorporate the ingredients with your fingertips. Making meatballs is all love and all feel, so it holds up nice and round. These are ready to go in the oven. After we get them in the oven, we're gonna hang out in there for about 2 hours at 375. We're gonna take them out of the oven and simmer them some ragu sauce for about 45 minutes. Just put it in a cast iron skillet and top it a little bit of ragu sauce. Go ahead and put it in the pizza oven. Bring it up to a boil for the guests, and then we'll go ahead and dress it. My personal favorite and best-selling one, meatball topped with fresh whipped ricotta. For our fresh whipped ricotta, it's whipped up a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, a bit of pecorino cheese, a little bit of parsley, and extra virgin olive oil.
The meatball hits center stage as an appetizer, but many Lavo guests treat this hearty dish as an entire meal.
I would have it as a meal myself. It's so good.
When I saw it at first, it looked like it was a little too big for a meatball, but it was so airy and fluffy.
The taste of the meatball, you know, when you put that first bite in, the flavor is permeated right through the whole meatball.
It just fell apart in my mouth. The cheese was amazing. I just loved it.
This is an incredible meatball. There's some kind of consistency that is there that makes me want to take another bite.
Fantastic.
Guests can get their big balls dished 2 other ways, with sausage ragu or veg out over arugula salad. Also, fans of the small ball can go all traditional, with a good old-fashioned staple plate of spaghetti and meatballs.
Spaghetti with the Kobe beef is a match made in heaven. They're incredible to have together.
I like vegetables, and with the meatball, of course, is on top of a bed of arugula. It adds to the flavor that I get when I'm eating the meatball.
The menu at Lavo is carefully crafted with classic Italian dishes, including brick oven pizza, pasta, steaks, and seafood. but it's their 1-pound monster that has made Lavo the biggest meatball party in Vegas.
We like to do things over the top, and so we figured what better way than take what's classic Italian and meatball and make it big and better than everything else. So you really get the full experience of, you get a great party, you get great food, you get great music, and a great ambiance to go along with it.
We're in Las Vegas. Doesn't get much better than this.
Whether you're a traditionalist or like to go balls to the wall with crazy new globular gastronomic creations, there's truly a meatball for everyone.
Nobody leaves meatballs in the bowl here. All the balls get eaten.
Meatballs are so great because they're traditional.
It's just packs a lot of flavor in a little piece of meat. Meatballs are so great because they're a total meal.
Meat, sauce, what's not to like? This is right here. You got to do this. This is excellent.
Barbecue, the oldest form of cooking known to man. But a bold few have harnessed the power of smoke and flame and use it to turn otherwise ordinary meat into something mere words can't describe.
Just yummy. It's a shockwave of just deliciousness.
It's over 15 inches tall, and it's damn good.
Great barbecue joints aren't easy to find. You gotta know where to look.
You know, we're just bringing a little south to Vegas.
Fortunately, there's one on every corner in barbecue paradise. First stop, one of America's hickory smoked holy sites, Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis may still be king, but pork rules. And no one knows how to transform a simple rib bone into a magic wand of flavor, quite like this man.
My name's Craig, and this is Central Barbecue.
Craig Blondes and his business partner Roger Sapp opened Central Barbecue back in 2002, using the same recipes that earned them over a dozen titles on the national competitive barbecue circuit.
We're getting ready to whip up our rib rub, which makes our ribs famous. It's a spice blend that my business partner created on the competitive circuit years ago, and we've stuck with it and use it every day.
You got your standard kosher salt, cumin, chili powder, and pepper. Then Central goes deep, adding a dimension of earth spices, garlic, onion, and paprika. And finally, a little brown sugar, which caramelizes and locks in the flavor.
Why are they the best ribs in the country? Because of the spice blend right here.
Here's a tip from the pros. You know that silvery membrane on the back of a rack of ribs? Most armchair grill masters take that off before cooking, but Craig leaves it on. How come?
My philosophy is there's a layer of fat under here. You remove the membrane, you remove the fat, they dry out. Fat rules. Whether it's pork fat, beef, it doesn't matter. Because as you're cooking it, you're gonna render the fat down, and that's what keeps the moisture.
With the skill of a Swedish masseuse, Craig rubs in the spice blend. The rack sets up overnight, and then he smokes them to perfection with a blend of hickory and pecan. The aroma is so intense, it's hard not to just grab the slab right out of his hands. But be patient, just one more step.
Basically, what I'm gonna do to finish these ribs is remove the membrane, and that's the last part of the process.
With that done, it's time to dig in.
These ribs have been kissed with smoke and are ready to eat.
You heard the man, let's eat.
Cheers.
Balls off the bone.
You can't make this up. You see the bone? You didn't see any utensils. You didn't see anything else. You just saw picking it up, meat and bone.
Balls right off.
Delicious.
And the grease is what's so good. It gets all over you. That's how you know you have a good rib.
Craig's barbecue skills are beyond next level. There's no meat he can't make better with his smoker sorcery.
This is about the biggest, baddest, smokiest wing that you're ever gonna find.
Who takes the time to smoke chicken wings? A true barbecue visionary, that's who.
For a barbecue joint, I've been voted best wings in town 3 times.
This is like 3 normal chicken wings.
Go for it. Come on, man. I'll get you some towels. Once you do put them in your mouth, you're ruined for the rest of your life. You won't be able to eat wings anywhere else. Wow.
Even if wings aren't normally your thing, you gotta try these big, bold flappers.
These wings are so huge that there's parts of wings I've never seen before in here. But I'm okay with that.
Memphis barbecue is normally all about dry rub marinades, but for his smoked wings, Craig makes an exception. That's what makes them so exceptional.
The first thing you're gonna need to do is marinate them with a Louisiana-style hot sauce for about 24 to 48 hours. These bad boys been marinating for 48 hours, and now they're ready to see the smoke. They're gonna be in here for about 2.5 hours at approximately 250 degrees. We're gonna hit them real hard with the smoke being a hickory and pecan mix.
Normally, if your chicken is pink on the inside, that's an invitation to the salmonella ball. But here, it's nothing but flavor.
And as you can see, there's a nice smoke ring on them. That pink is from the smoke. My wings are so good, you could even eat the bone.
After smoking, the wings get crisped up and finished off in the fryer, but not before getting one final flavor boost. You can pick traditional buffalo sauce, tangy honey gold, a dry Jamaican jerk rub, or Craig's favorite, sweet heat.
Which is that same honey gold that I've added dried Chinese red pepper and dried habanero pepper to it. So you get the sweet, tangy start and a real hot finish. This is so hot, it'll melt your face off.
This is next level heat right here.
I can't handle it. It's too much for me.
What keeps Central on top of the Memphis Meat Pyramid is they've mastered the classics, but they're not afraid to take barbecue to new places. Pulled pork nachos, anyone?
The cheese tastes really good with the barbecue sauce together.
The pork is just perfect. I mean, there's a reason they get voted the best every year.
The beauty is in the simplicity. Chief Nacho Tech Duran Rogers starts with a basket full of homemade tortilla chips, hand-pulled pork, and some of Central's sweet Maui-style barbecue sauce. Then what happens?
After I sauce it up, come over here by the nacho cheese machine. That's what it is. It's nacho cheese, but my cheese.
Pretty cheesy if it ends there, but wait, there's more.
Come back over here, sprinkle a little bit of the shredded cheese on top. If you got HD, I bet you can see all the shredded cheese melting on there. Put a little bit of jalapenos on there. Then I just kick it with my little shake, homemade style from Central Barbecue.
I'm so messy. I know, I'm gonna need more napkins.
While some Memphis meaderies take themselves a little too seriously, Central puts the fun back into barbecue fundamentals. Memphis may be the place to pig out on pork, but that's not how they do it in Houston, where the secret word is big, as in big portions, big smoky flavors, and big helpings of family hospitality. That's the winning formula for this gem of a spot on West 19th Street, Gatlin's Barbecue.
You're at Gatlin's Barbecue. You're in the, I call it the Love Shack.
Owner Greg Gatlin and his family serve up what many consider the finest example of true Texas barbecue. Lip-smacking slices of smoky beef brisket.
Here in Texas, it's all about the beef, baby.
Greg's got his pops helping out with the smoker and his mother Mary running the front of the house.
Did you enjoy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Imagine her pride when Greg announced in 2010 he was giving up his lucrative corporate career to open a barbecue joint.
Can you imagine what this mama said? Have you lost your mind?
But Gatlin's Barbecue took off like wildfire, and where there's fire, there's smoke. The secret ingredient to Gatlin's beloved brisket.
A lot of people think about barbecue as being the sauce, but here in Texas, if it doesn't have wood flavor in it, it's not barbecue.
At Gatlin's, they use mostly oak for smoke, with just a touch of hickory for sweetness.
You can see right here on the smoke ring right here, that's the bark. That can tell that it was in a smoker, low and slow, 225, maybe 220. That's why it's delicious. So low and slow is the way to go.
Attention to detail is what sets Gatlin's apart from all the wannabes. Greg expertly carves off just the right amount of fat to render down into juicy goodness.
When you think about it, you are carving your masterpiece. It's gonna be something of beauty when it hits your tongue there.
With the excess flab in check, it's time to boost up that flavor.
We don't want to be shy with it, because this is a big piece of meat. We want to get in here and just go ahead and rub it in. Get as much as you can get on there.
Gatlin's dry rub features salt and granulated garlic, but it's the fresh ground black pepper that really helps create the crunchy outer skin known as the bark. And the bark is the best thing to bite.
Here we are. And we're ready to cook. There you go.
So now you know how to make award-winning Texas-style beef brisket. Let's review. A little cut, a little rub, some smoky, and a mere 14 to 18 hours later, behold.
Oh, gosh. Perfect. Perfect. I think we nailed it, guys.
Every young man in the family knows how to barbecue, but with Gregory, there's a passion.
It's amazing. It just falls apart like you wouldn't believe.
The bark is outstanding, really crispy and smoky.
As strong as their beef brisket is, you better believe Gatlin's pork game is on point too. And wait till you see their Texas-sized sandwich, crammed with every flavor of the barbecue rainbow.
This is how we do it in Texas.
Texas has long been our nation's barbecue beef capital, and you won't find brisket any better than at Gatlin's Barbecue in the Houston Heights neighborhood. But owner Greg Gatlin played a little Division I football at nearby Rice University, so he knows how to handle the pigskin too. We're talking pork ribs.
Pork can have a tendency to dry out, so that way we're gonna use a little more wet to combo with our dry rubs here.
After the wet comes more dry seasoning. That doesn't get rubbed into the pork, it's more of a friendly pat.
I could do this all day long.
Looks like it's gonna be good. But with pork, the proof is in the pulling.
It's like a Neapolitan ice cream barbecue rib right here. Do you see that? All the different flavors, the smoke got in there, and I'm gonna enjoy this bite right here.
A guy can work up a powerful appetite, making people's meatiest dreams come true. So what does Greg make for himself when he gets hungry? It's kind of a secret, but I'll give you a hint. It's a sandwich with everything but the kitchen sink.
You gotta know about it to order it.
The kitchen sink sandwich is a big scoop of Miss Mary's dirty rice, hearty hunks of barky brisket, man-sized slices of smoky links, mounds of shredded cheddar, peppers, onions, and just a drizzle of their tangy, warm, vinegar-based barbecue sauce.
I try to drizzle. Oh. Boom.
It's like a 3-meat combo on a sandwich. It's outstanding.
When it comes to great barbecue, Houston, you have no problem. Gatlin's is the spot.
Barbecue in Texas, it's a religion. It's not just something we do.
I've already had my barbecue fix for the weekend, so don't need to test everything else to find what's the best, that's for sure.
From America's beef capital, it's just a bone's throw away to barbecue chicken country, Northern Alabama, where they braise their birds in a unique and tangy white sauce. Big Bob Gibson's in Decatur sealed their place in barbecue history when Big Bob himself invented the sauce more than 85 years ago.
Big Bob Gibson, he lived out in the country. He was a big character. He was like 6'4", weighed about 300 pounds, charismatic. People from town came out because they heard about his barbecue. And then eventually he went from his backyard and moved to town and started selling barbecue out of a little small shack.
From when he began in his backyard until the time he opened his first restaurant, Big Bob had two things and two things only on his menu: smoked pork shoulder and barbecue chicken with that one-of-a-kind tangy white sauce. These days, the menu has expanded, but Chris Lilly, who married into the family biz, serves up a bit of Gibson history every day.
Our barbecue white sauce is a North Alabama staple. It is one of Big Bob Gibson's original barbecue sauces we've been serving since 1925. That's good.
It tastes very vinegary and peppery. And it's not real spicy, it's just right.
People take barbecue very, very serious, and they come in and they see the white barbecue sauce, they're absolutely shocked. But I tell you what, once they try it, they're gonna be back.
The chickens start out on modern versions of Big Bob's original backyard brick pits.
All we did was salt them at first, but now it's time to put a little oil-based marinade on the chickens and flip them over. These chickens stay on the pit for about 3 hours. So unless you dip them in this marinade, the chickens will tend to dry out. This ensures a juicy, moist chicken for our customers. The second step of the chicken is not completely finished. You know, for that, we not only dip and flip, but we pepper the bellies. This is a fresh cracked black pepper that will broadcast over the chickens. It's only now that the chickens are ready for their second stage of cooking.
That second stage lasts for 3 more hours. Now it's time to anoint these heavenly birds. Enter ye the kingdom of moistness.
Well, now the skin is just crisp and brown, and it is ready to be baptized in the vat of white sauce and go to the table.
The white sauce is a tangy combo of mayo, vinegar, lemon juice, horseradish, spices, and a whole lot of love.
The sauce has a little bit of creaminess and a little bit of vinegar, and I love the tartness of it, and it just makes the chicken flavor even better.
It's magic, is what it is.
Between the smokiness in the meat and then the taste of that white sauce, it just does something to me.
What does it do to you?
I can't tell you that.
If that chicken does something to you, then meet another Big Bob Gibson superstar, his St. Louis spare ribs.
You know, there's a couple different kinds of ribs that are served in barbecue restaurants, the St. Louis cut spare rib and also the baby back rib. For me, the spare rib actually has more flavor. There's a little more fat content, so you can pull a lot more flavor with the dry rub and the smoke flavor.
The ribs are coated with Big Bob's award-winning rub that includes sugar, salt, 3 kinds of pepper, onion, and garlic powder, along with coriander and cumin.
This particular recipe was not Big Bob Gibson's original. This is one we developed through competition cooking.
That's right. Before Chris introduces his customers to any new rubs or sauces, they're all battle-tested.
You know, Big Bob Gibson's has been very, very successful cooking competition barbecue.
Those ribs with their award-winning blanket of rub take a nap in the pit for about 4 hours. Finally, they're mopped down with a sticky richness of Bob's tomato-based red sauce, full of molasses, honey, maple syrup, and vinegar.
This is some good barbecue.
It's good and plump, a little bit of a tang, but a little bit of a sweet. It's very good.
Finger-licking good.
And speaking of messy, did we mention Big Bob's baked potatoes?
I didn't know you made potatoes this big. This is the biggest potato I've ever seen.
This is what we serve here. They're over 1.5 pounds a piece before we put any butter, cheese, chives, or our barbecue on there.
That's right, a little butter, sour cream, chives, and a 1/4 pound of their original slow-cooked shoulder are piled high on this colossal spud.
Here it is, our famous Big Bob Gibson baked barbecue potato, the biggest potato on either side of the Mississippi.
And it's just so tender, the meat just falls apart.
Big as a football.
For real? How big it is?
It's a big one.
You can't even get to the potato, there's so much meat.
There's a lot of barbecue places in Alabama, and this is one of the best ones I've ever had. Can I eat now?
From deep in the heart of Dixie to Sin City, high rollers who know barbecue roll into Rollin' Smoke, where a pair of Arkansas brothers are stopping traffic with their smoker sorcery.
We're just bringing a little south to Vegas, you know, let everybody try that good southern barbecue that we got.
It ain't easy to stand out amongst all the glitz unless you're dealing out succulent beef brisket meatloaf.
This meatloaf is so much better than my mom used to make.
Or a barbecue burger as tall as the stratosphere.
I've never had a burger that's got smoked beef and ground beef in it together. It's amazing.
The rule in Vegas is you roll your dice and you take your chances. But there's one sure bet in this town. It's the barbecue meatloaf being served up at Rollin' Smoke, a hole in the wall, just off the strip. This barbecue twist on a down-home dish is the brainchild of 2 brothers from Arkansas, bringing authentic Southern Q to Sin City.
You know, we're just bringing a little south to Vegas, you know, let everybody try that good southern barbecue that we got.
The team cooks up Arkansas barbecue, which simply put is a mishmash of barbecue styles from around the country, all stitched together in one crazy quilt of flavor. And what could be more delicious than an oversized smoky hunk of barbecued meatloaf? Just ask Pitmaster Dusty.
This is our mom's recipe for back home in Arkansas. Then my brother got crazy, decided he wanted to do a little pioneering, and so now it's first of its kind.
Like many good meatloaves, this one starts with a mixture of ground beef and pork. From there, we venture into uncharted territory.
Right now, we're gonna grab the brisket that's been smoked on hickory wood for about 16 hours.
These good old boys don't leave well enough alone. They also add a generous portion of smoked pork. It's a gamble that paid off.
So now when you take a bite of this meatloaf, you're gonna go, is that pulled pork? Yes, it is. It's smoky goodness pulled pork right here.
Dusty also throws in diced onion and green pepper. And their ace in the hole, their homemade rub.
It's got a little bit of paprika, cayenne, and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I wish I could tell you everything, but it's our recipe. Last but not least, this is gonna be our sauce, the secret recipe. And this is where you really put the South in your mouth.
Then the meatloaf is panned up and put in the smoker. After that, it's sliced into thick, manly slabs.
Oh yeah, exactly what you're looking for. It's gonna be just like your ribs, your brisket, and pork. Nice bark, nice flavor, and great smoke.
Dusty lays down a king-size bed of fluffy mashed potatoes, which serves as a buttery, bacony foundation for the majestic motherlode of loaf. Then it's garnished with a little secret sauce for tang and crunchy onion strings for texture.
And there you go, Mama's smoked meatloaf at its finest.
Oh my God. This is delicious.
Instead of ketchup, they use barbecue sauce, and you can really taste it. It adds to the taste, it adds to the smoke flavor, and it's really good. It's really different.
So I bet right about now you're feeling pretty lucky as far as good eating goes. Ready to double down? Then meet Chef Tim and his monster creation, the Outlaw Burger.
All right, we're making the Outlaw Burger. We're putting the backyard barbecue into the burger.
The first step to making this beefy behemoth is getting some green peppers and red onions sweating in a sauté pan.
Yeah, baby.
Those are added to criminally insane amounts of Wagyu beef. And now it's time to inject the barbecue into this burger.
See this nice juicy brisket right here? The juice is flowing right out of there. That's how we do it in rolling smoke. Yeah, baby. Next, I'm gonna add my wet ingredients, barbecue sauce, some Worcestershire, and some other secret ingredients that we use to put in here.
A healthy dose of that secret rub is tossed in, along with a few eggs to hold it all together.
We smoked this burger low and slow at 225 for 30 minutes.
Half an hour later, and Tim is ready to stack the deck.
I'm gonna place them on the grill, get some nice char marks on there.
He piles on thick slices of cheddar, fresh lettuce, juicy tomato, a festive fistful of purple slaw, crispy onion strings, and a little something to keep the tower from toppling over.
Now we're gonna stab this Outlaw with the cherry peppers and the pickles, and we're gonna finish it off. And like I said before, it stands over 15 inches tall, and it's damn good.
This burger is so big, to trying to watch people come in, trying to eat the Outlaw Burger, it's just amazing. They're like, what do I do with it?
I ordered the Outlaw Burger, and I wear gloves to eat it. This is the best barbecue in Vegas. Now I don't have to use the wet napkin.
This is absolutely a two-hand burger, and it's probably gonna be a mess.
You can do it.
That's damn good. Can I get a napkin?
When you do go down south, be sure to pack some extra napkins, because some of that Carolina barbecue gets pretty saucy, especially in Lexington, where the Monk family's been serving it up the same way for over 50 years.
People say if it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, that's the way we're doing things.
There's nothing like it. Been coming here for 30 years, and I will continue to come back.
And you'll be back too, for more of this tender, juicy pork shoulder. The Carolinas are home to no fewer than 5 distinct styles of regional barbecue, but the best might just be found in Lexington, North Carolina, the mecca of slow-smoked, tomato-laced pork shoulder, known as Western style. Each day here at Lexington Barbecue begins with owner Rick Monk and his trusty pitmaster preparing over a half-ton of pork shoulder. Their motto, keep it simple.
This is really true Western-style barbecue. We do not use any rubs on it. We do not use any marinades. All we do is put a small base of salt on this shoulder right here.
But simple does not mean easy. It takes a trusty shovel to keep the hickory coals burning just right.
We use oak and hickory wood, shovel the coals down about the size of a nickel or a dime, and spread them evenly out under here.
The pork is packed in shoulder to shoulder for a 9 to 10 hour smoke.
What makes it special is it's the old-fashioned way. The hickory flavor, as the grease gets fat and falls down onto the coal.
Meanwhile, it's sauce making time.
Most of your places have a very thick, almost gooier barbecue sauce. Ours is very thin. It falls through the meat. It just saturates it, through the bottom of it there. I do not want to hide the taste of the meat. I just want to enhance what you're getting ready to eat into.
Rick starts with the dry ingredients. Salt, red pepper, black pepper, not really reinventing the wheel yet.
All right, next thing I like to do, I start adding in all my wet ingredients. What I do here, I have my vinegar. This is a very mild vinegar. I'm not gonna tell you what kind it is. It's a secret for what we like to use in our sauces.
The next ingredient is what sets Lexington sauce apart from other Carolina sauces.
I have my favorite kind of ketchup. I use my ketchup according to the sugar content in them.
It's simple, but it wouldn't be Lexington barbecue without it.
You know, I'm from Eastern North Carolina, and the barbecue's different there, but Eastern style has more vinegar, where this has a little bit of that tomato ketchup base to it, so it gives a little extra tang.
But I prefer the Western style barbecue. I'm slowly trying to educate them what barbecue is over there.
But no one's gonna get any learning done if we don't get them shoulders out the smoker.
The most popular style barbecue here we sell is a chopped barbecue sandwich. The love here is gonna be chopping meat up, putting it on a bun.
The chopped sandwich mixes white and dark meats, but you can also choose a brown chop.
I love the brown. I love the brown.
Or a brown coarse chop.
It's gonna be cubes of like little squares of meat. And a lot of men like the big chunks of meat. Instead of having it chopped, which holds a little bit more sauce, they want the big chunks of it in their mouth.
I mean, that's just as good as it gets.
Any way you chop it, all the sandwiches come with the sauce and a healthy scoop of slaw, which gets its color and flavor from more of that Lexington-style sauce.
You gotta have the slaw, because without the slaw, you have nothing.
Coleslaw has some tang to it, and they have a little bit of heat from the sauce. It's a tasty sandwich.
It's so simple, but it's complicated. But I love it.
Another item to add to your barbecue bucket list. If you haven't had Lexington style yet, don't worry, there's still time to catch up. Face it, people get weird when it comes to their barbecue, especially in the capital of weird, Austin, Texas. So naturally, their favorite barbecue spot is way off the beaten path, on a sleepy cul-de-sac. By a pair of second-hand trailers, the line forms early.
All right, everybody, we're open.
Oh, they seem friendly now. Just don't keep them waiting too long for their meat, specifically longhorn-sized beef ribs and fresh andouille sausage. Conjured up by the Pied Piper of protein pyrotechnics, Tom Mickelwaite.
I cook in that trailer, and I smoke meat in this one, and blah, 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 blah. What else?
Tom went from being a punk rock musician, to a florist, to a butcher shop assistant, to finally a barbecue entrepreneur. In Austin, that's known as a traditional career path.
The obsession of barbecue. It's an obsession that just grows and festers. I mean, that's not a good word. It's a festering passion.
The dish that put Mickelwaite's on the map is the award-winning beef ribs. Dang, look at the size of those things.
Each rib weighs about 2 pounds. You see, it's about as big as my arm.
The beef rib is, I think, quintessential to Texas because it's just so big. I mean, pork rib, beef rib. I mean, it's just amazing.
Let's get our dry rub working. We'll need lots of pepper, some dark chili powder, chili flakes, onion, garlic, freshly ground mustard seeds, a pinch of mace just to let you know you're alive, and a little coriander for that citrusy zing. All on a foundation of salt. And that's how you prep a local legend.
These are the ribs that won the Austin Chronicle Beef Rib Smackdown. It took a couple days for the victory to really sink in.
Now it's into the smoker.
Beef ribs are seasoned or ready to go. We're gonna put them in the smoker for 12 hours. When we take them out, they will be juicy, succulent, unctuous, dripping with flavor, and absolutely delicious.
People don't realize how much labor goes into this. It's really absurd. Like, someone has to be here pretty much all hours of the day. The fire's gonna be running all night.
12 hours later, all the hard work pays off With smoke flavor so bold, not only can you taste it, you can actually see how it penetrated the meat.
This is the smoke ring. I want that to be about 1/4 of an inch. It should be like a crimson, like nice dark color.
More delicious than mere words can capture.
That's a big one. I ordered the largest piece of meat I've ever seen in my life.
The fat just melts in your mouth. It's smoky. The bark on the outside, man, that thing is a fantastic rib.
It's delicious and juicy. We're actually from New York City, and you cannot get meat like this at all.
The test of a true marriage is if you can go through and share this without having a fight. Because I could have a whole thing completely by myself.
Oh my gosh, look at it. It just comes right off. It's amazing.
We're gonna have counseling for this.
If you think Mickelwaite's beef ribs are bombastic, wait till you see what he does with sausage. We told you how Austin, Texas barbecue mogul Tom Mickelwaite is proud of his big beef rib prowess, but the thing that brings him the most joy is making sausage.
This is some fresh pork belly, which we're using to make our house-made andouille sausage.
Pork belly is of course usually used to make bacon, but one bite of this Cajun-inspired treat, and you'll be like, bacon who? Tom splays it out all nice and pretty, and then rains down a whole rack's worth of spices. Salt, black pepper, fresh garlic, homemade mustard, chili flakes, sweet Spanish paprika, marjoram, sage, and gumbo filet.
It is a signature flavor of andouille sausage. It's bay leaf, dried thyme, and sassafras root. Got all the spices in, all the garlic. We're ready to mix it up and grind it.
I've always heard it's best not to see how the sausage is made, but the process is oddly hypnotic. That all-natural casing holds in the juices and gives you a nice snap on every bite. Those get sectioned off and then parked in the smoker. And in just a few short hours, the flavor will be so intense, it will cause otherwise normal folks to rethink major life decisions.
Oh, wow. We're gonna be late for our flight.
You know what? If we're gonna miss a flight,
It's
this
worth
may
it,
be a
right?
good reason.
Exactly.
The casing has a little bit of snap to it. It's not greasy on the inside.
The smoke, you can taste it.
Oh, Mickelwaite's is the first place I stopped on my vacation for barbecue, and definitely don't need to go anywhere else.
That first bite, you get this magic tingle. When you pop it in your mouth, the bark, the salt, and the rub, and the smoke, and the moisture of the fat that's rendered down, it's just kind of a shock wave of just deliciousness. And it just travels from top to bottom, all the way to your toes, literally.
What do you do if you love barbecue and you love Mexican? You combine them. What else? That's what they do at Village Tavern in the LA hipster enclave of Atwater Village. Feast your eyes on the barbecue pulled pork burrito, the brainchild of Chef Marcel Faruqi.
I came up mixing barbecue because I was just a barbecue fanatic, but I love Mexican food. And one day I just said, let's just put them together. What the hell?
It's like a volcano of awesomeness and deliciousness in your mouth.
Like a street taco, except in like a bar atmosphere.
The idea for the Mexi barbecue mashup started with Marcel's food truck, Stop Guac and Roll. Restaurant owner and future partner Maurice was a huge fan of the truck and hit up Marcel to run the kitchen at his new restaurant, Village Tavern.
This is so unique. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, it's traditional American barbecue fused with Mexican food, so to me it was just like a no-brainer.
It was a gastro mashup made in food nerd heaven. But the thing that takes this burrito out of Mexico and into barbecue territory? The smoked pork shoulder.
Every barbecue smokehouse has their own rub. Mine is very heavy on brown sugar. Really caramelizes the meat and adds this really nice, deep, sweet flavor.
Marcel mixes that up with sweet paprika, pepper, garlic powder, cayenne for a little kick, dried mustard, ground oregano, and cumin. Then he gets a good workout as he rubs the spice mix into the pork. Grrr.
So after you start rubbing this pork with all your rub, you'll know you're really done once you get a good amount of caramelizing on your hands with the sugar. This paste is where the gold's at. This is what you want from your meat. So now that we have this pork butt rub, He has a home waiting for him in the smoker.
While that big old shoulder smokes low and slow for 12 hours, Marcel whips up his Mexican barbecue sauce, or is that barbecue salsa?
I took the best barbecue sauce I could possibly make, I added the best salsa, and now I have a barbecue salsa, per se, and I call it Chili Q.
Marcel blends 5 chilies together, dried chili arbol, to give the Chili Q its kick, guajilos, to balance out the spice and give the sauce some sweetness, along with ancho chilies, jalapenos, and serranos.
Each chili has their own taste, but it's really when you blend and combine them that it creates that one magic chili.
All that spicy magic then goes into a ketchup-based sauce with some garlic and onion. Marcel then combines brown sugar and vinegar together and adds them to the sauce, because what's spicy without sweet and sour? Then some Worcestershire and OJ are added for good measure.
Finally, I'm gonna add some spices. I've come up with a bunch of different spices that I like.
The spices are the best of both barbecue and Mexican dishes.
We're gonna let this simmer on low for roughly 4 to 5 hours. Without this sauce, there's no Mexican barbecue. Oh yeah, that's what you want.
12 hours later, that shoulder is done smoking and falling apart. And now it's ready to get married with the Chili Q sauce, a match made in Mexi Barbie heaven.
I mean, as you can see right now on the flip side, this pork got nice, beautiful, beautiful crust of Chili Q.
Marcel wraps the barbecue pork in a flour tortilla and tops it with a Mexican-inspired lime cilantro coleslaw, pico de gallo, and guacamole sauce.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
The barbecue is all through pork. It just steeps through, and then you have the Chili Q that just, it's mouth-watering.
There's so many layers to it. Like, there's different flavors, and they each hit you differently.
But if burritos ain't your thing, you have options on how to eat your Q. Marcel also offers up Mexican barbecue tacos, tortas, and nachos.
It's got a zing to it, you know, it's different.
It's supposed to be Mexican barbecue, and I just know it tastes amazing.
Anybody visiting the Atwater Village Tavern deserves to have this great taste. It's so good.
One last stop on our buffet of American regional barbecue powerhouses, Kansas City, Missouri, to partake in some tasty burnt offerings. The Kansas City area is another of America's big regional barbecue powerhouses. Experts say the finest example of Kansas City barbecue is not in the 816 proper, but just on the outskirts in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, at a place called Wabash.
We opened in August of 1997. I had zero restaurant experience. Learned a lot. It's been quite a ride.
Co-owner Mitchell T. Dickey taught himself well, because this refurbished old railroad depot is your main stop on the Flavor Express.
I'm retired from the railroad, and to have my passion, railroad, and the passion for barbecue all in one place, can't beat it.
What really keeps folks coming back is a local delicacy from the farthest reaches of a beef brisket, burnt ends.
I love the burnt ends here. They're so yummy and tasty. They've got good flavor. They're smoky, but not too overpowering.
So what are burnt ends? Imagine a brisket was a loaf of unsliced bread. Burnt ends are the heels, the part with the best delicious bark to meat or crust to bread ratio. Making them is a lengthy process that starts out in the smokehouse, where Pitmaster Donnie stokes the smoker.
This is hickory wood. Adds that distinct flavor in it, especially with the apple wood. And it just gives off a certain flavor that you just can't beat with them pellet stoves that they use in the bigger cities.
Then they start working in the rub. The exact ingredients? That's a secret. There's salt, garlic, some Cajun spice. Trust me, you'd love it.
The love's in the rub.
Brisket comes from the shoulder of the cow, and it's one of the toughest cuts of meat there is. But 16 or so hours in the low heat of the smoker renders it perfectly tender and coated in crispy, mouth-watering bark.
Charred a little bit on the outside, pinkish on the inside, really, really yummy.
Have to have the combo of the char and the soft tender meat, otherwise it's not a burnt end.
But at Wabash, the ends are just the beginning. For a true taste of KC magic, you gotta get the ribs. The meat doesn't just fall off the bone, it practically leaps off.
Look at that. That is what I'm talking about right there.
Don't ask me how to prepare them. I don't have any idea, but it worked for me.
The secret is Wabash's patented process. After 4 or 5 hours, Mitchell wraps them in foil to lock in the juices, then sticks them back in. For how long? That depends. The smoker, she is a mysterious mistress.
Oh, it all depends. Anywhere from 30 minutes to 45. Oh, look at that. That's what it's all about right there. Just fall off the bone.
It's like love. When it's right, you know it. And these babies are right. Whether you're into pork or beef, dry or sauced, sweet or savory. At this old train station, they're all aboard. How do you even put a price on flavor like that? Let's ask these professional auctioneers.
Start at $1 million and go up. 25, 30, now to 35, now to 40, to get 30, 40, now 45, 45, now 55, now 80, now 90. Sold them 80, now right there. Sold it.
Barbecue, like the people who enjoy it, comes in all shapes and sizes, united by a common love of flame-kissed meat. And despite the differences, we all wipe our mouths one napkin at a time.